저는 재미없는 책들을 싫어해요.
들을 싫어요. I hate the books. 재미없는, which are boring. Object, noun, phrase here. Boring books.
저는 싫어해요.
Verbs always at the end. In Korean. The word boring, it can be a verb on its own, but here, ending in 는 is modifying the noun that follows.
가방이 있는 아이.
So, bag such that it exists, child, what it means is that having a bag or a bag existing is modifying this noun. It's an attribute of the child. Child with a bag, having a bag. We could also say
맛있는 소고기는 많이 비싸요.
It basically is to exist in a place, be in a place.
맛있는 소고기는 많이 비싸요.
소고기, beef, namely tasty beef. 많이 비싸요 is very expensive.
맛있는 소고기는 많이 비싸요. 책이 없는 도서관.
책이 없는 도서관. Not a sentence, but a complex noun phrase. A library where books are not present. Library without books. We could use a prepositional phrase, and you can think of this like an abbreviated relative clause. Maybe it's a separate, distinct structure in English.
아이들이 가장 재미없는 영화를 봐요.
아이들이 가장 What's 가장?
가장.
That's right. The most. The most something, introducing superlative. 가장 재미없는, the most boring. And with that, add nominal modifier from a verb root. 없다. 영화를, 영화 the movie. 와요. That was Levi this evening. Let's get that. Alright, so it's 와요. I watched the movie. The one that is the most boring. The child does. Children. Watch the most boring movies. Movies from which interest is most absent.
가장 맛있는 라면은 매워요.
맛있는. Yeah, so the most tasty, flavorful. 가장 is this adverbial. Ka, first syllable, and then 장, got the same vowel. That's the symbol on the right, top right. 가장 맛있는.
가장 맛있는 라면은 매워요.
매워요. The tastiest. 맛 is 맛. 있는 라면. What's the verb?
가장 맛있는 라면은 매워요.
Spicy. 맛있는 라면은 is spicy, hot. 매워요. Wait. 고마워요.
가장 맛있는 라면은 매워요.
매워요. What's that? That'd be spicy. Oh, I'm thinking of another P verb, yeah. 매워요. 가장 맛있는 라면은 매워요. 매워요. 라면은 Oops, I did it twice. The 가장
맛없는 불고기.
맛없는 불고기. Just call it bad. Bad tasting, flavor being absent. Tasteless.
우리는 재미있는 영화를 함께 봅니다.
Says this verb 는 noun is a different thing than a relative clause. It is still a sentence within another. 라면 is actually ramen. I'm not sure where it's original. It's an odd-shaped word for Japanese as well as Korean,
우리는
kind of for Chinese, but Chinese writes it this way. I learned a new term today. La, K-U-I-T, which means to pull. So it's there. It doesn't mean, well, I guess it does. No, it's Chinese, yeah. So for the, what's it called? The wheat radical. For mian, it's beyond me right now. Mian for noodles. It's got the face phonetic. It's this one. So I think it makes sense in Chinese. The pulled noodles. But it's what's odd about it in Korean is that it has an initial R, so it must be a recent loan. If it were an older one, it would become an N in this environment. And the ah rhyme in Japanese, it's ramyeon, ramen. Long ah is non-existent in classical loans from Chinese, so it points to a recent origin. The long ah vowel just does not occur. And like it's, yeah. Oh yeah, I want to find out here what the CJ input is. JN, yeah, okay, and then MW alpha, JN. So to write mian, the traditional shape, J and N for the bottom part. So the right word stroke there is just ignored. So that M shape on the bottom, and then MW L. The mian on its own, can't really get a space there, but since that's repeated, the phonetic component, the part that means face, MW, and then Y, L. It would be, there's just one Y component omitted from that spelling. M for the first two, W for the enclosure. Within it, it has Y, Y, L. Okay. Little sidetrack there.
우리는 재미있는 영화를 함께 봅니다.
Did I answer everything I asked? The verb, oh, is it a different thing from a relative clause? Don't know. It is like one in that it's modifying a noun with sentence-like structures, sentential ones, but it's unlike them in that there's no head pronoun, unless this nun be the pronoun. 우리는 재미있는 영화를 함께 together 봅니다. Let's watch. We are watching.
봅니다.
Watching a movie together. Interesting movie.
음식이 없는 식당.
Restaurant, 식당, head being final, head noun. 식당 없는, lacking, 음식이, from which food is missing.
가장 재미있는 책을 읽어요.
가장 the most 재미있는 interesting 책을 book 읽어요. Reading the most interesting book.
생각이 없는 사람.
생각이 없는 사람. Thoughtless person.
어느 와인이 가장 쓰니까?
어느 와인이 가장 씁니까?
쓰니까.
Is this wine? Which wine is the most bitter?
재미있는 언어.
재미있는 언어. Interesting. It's not marked for number. Language. How do you know who is doing the action? Does it default to the self when unspecified? Who's doing what action? In the opta, ita, those verbs? That's not an action. Sorry, please clarify. I was going to say interesting languages would make sense too for this.
개가 맛없는 소고기를 먹지 않아요.
개가 맛없는, so 맛없는, written as pronounced D.
개가 맛없는 소고기를 먹지 않아요.
맛없는 소고기를 먹지 않아요. I don't do the eating of beef, which is tasteless. The dog, not I. When unspecified, are you talking about just Korean sentences in general? I suppose so. Not experienced enough to know. Never really had to get around an all-Korean environment yet. So I just don't have the experience. 개가 맛없는 소고기를 doesn't eat the dog. Doesn't eat tasteless beef, I'm sure. He just despises it.
가장 맛있는 라면은 매워요. 가장 맛있는 라면은 매워요.
The deliciousest one is ramen. 가장, the most. 맛있는, delicious. Is the root. 는, ramen. This is really nice for teaching, this keyboard. You get to see it in its romanization, associated with the sound myeon, and then as soon as you press space, it just converts it into that syllable block. You just go syllable by syllable. Ramyeon은, and little appended things like that. That's not quite a word, so it hangs on to the word before. 라면은 매워요. Let's get this one in. And some of the rewrites are quite interesting. I type W-O. There, the O stands for the E-O vowel, so it converts it. And that's 라면 that I'm deleting here. 가장 맛있는 라면은 매워요.
가장 맛있는 라면은 매워요.
This says 책을 읽어요. X is reading a book. How do we know? I suppose that's a good working model to use, that it default to first person. From context, yes. The thing about Duolingo is there is no context. So it's really abstract, sort of Chomskyan, just severed from lived
맛없는
experience
불고기.
type of language uses, but we can still learn a lot from it.
맛없는 불고기.
That kind of stuff it's hard to convey, and unless they start doing Korean stories more, maybe they're like they have for the Romance languages. That'd be nice. 맛없는 불고기. 맛없는, tasteless here, we're saying, lacking flavor. 불고기 barbecue.
우리는 재미있는 영화를 함께 봅니다.
우리는 재미있는 영화를 함께 봅니다. Let's do that. Let's read back it. We watch a movie together. This is such an odd sentence in English. It's hard to construct a context where this would be an appropriate utterance. It's not really about that. It's about expressing logical propositions clearly. So, welcome back to Language Institute. I'm your VerbAlly, spending some time with Korean this evening and whatever else you all request. That's what I'm here for. Oh, so let's do some review. Levi. In Devanagari, if possible, or otherwise, or both, romanization. Can you remind us of our sup endings that we've learned so far? And then we'll do another case. Let's get that ready. And here another sutra. In fact, while I'm loading this, let's get in sutra mode. Badger.
येनाक्षरसमाम्नायमधिगम्य महेश्वरात् कृत्स्नं व्याकरणं प्रोक्तं तस्मै पाणिनये नमः। येन धौता गिरः पुंसां विमलैः शब्दवारिभिः तमश्चाज्ञानजं भिन्नं तस्मै पाणिनये नमः। वाक्यकारं वररुचिं भाष्यकारं पतञ्जलिं पाणिनिं सूत्रकारं च प्रणतोऽस्मि मुनित्रयम्। ॐ ऐउण रुद्रक एवोम ऐऔच हयवरट लन ञमङणनम झभय घढधश जबगडदश ख फ छ ठ थ चटतव कपय शशसर हल इति माहेश्वराणि सूत्राणि। अथ प्रथमोऽध्यायः। प्रथमः पादः। वृद्धिरादैच अदेङ्गुणः इको गुणवृद्धि न धातुलोप आर्धधातुके इति च दीधीवे वीटाम् हलोऽनन्तराः संयोगः मुखनासिका वचनोऽनुनासिकः तुल्यास्य प्रयत्नं सवर्णं नाज्झलौ ईदूदेद्विवचनं प्रगृह्यम्।
Su, out, just. Not quite. Out, shus. Remember that it's not a dental S there for the accusative plural, but shus. So there's the... In the transliteration, it's S with an acute accent. I would write it like this for convenience. Da, exactly, with a retroflex. Pyam, pis. Nge, pyam, pyas. Very good. In nge, the NG is the label letter, indicatory, so I'll capitalize it for clarity. And once, the ng is not part of any Indo-European morphology. These indicatory letters were chosen because they're rare in the language, in actually occurring words. Not all of them. The J is indicatory here. It's common. Ooh. It's one of the three basic vowels, pretty much. But wherever possible, there are no roots, there are no suffix or affixes in Sanskrit that begin with a duh, so it's a really convenient label for a grammarian to use for his purposes, his or her. It's instantly recognizable as a non-word. So we are using caps for both retroflex and it as needed, basically. Yeah, good point. We could do to sort of, what's another option? We could do T dot, although that gives you a hyperlink. I'm open to suggestions there on how to distinguish. We could do T apostrophe for duh, whatever. But always ask if it's unclear which sense it's being used in. Yeah, it's going to fluctuate. I think for the purposes of Panini, for the morphemes, I'll use caps wherever possible to identify label letter versus actual sound. And that way we can know at a glance. For su, the first one, S is the only sound that's relevant. U is there for certain sutras to apply to it. And the accusative dual is not out, but just au. The d is indicative only for the accusative, and I don't know why. Haven't gotten to that yet. Okay. Su au jas out shas. Da pyam pis nge pyam pyas. Yeah, we reviewed that so far. So we need to learn fifth case. How to say that? Panchami. So ncha gets a ligature. Combined writing. Panchami. We'll do palatal nya. Kill the vowel. Cha, voiceless. Panchami. Right, on their own, those syllables are nya. Oh, that's capital Y, isn't it? Nope, that's nothing. So the palatal has this sort of outstretched hand shape, and the ja looks like that. Write them one on top of the other, and it's this ja. Panchami is feminine. Vibhakti. Like, this can be nominative too if I just add the visarga. Panchami vibhaktihi, nominative singular feminine. And note that the long E of the ordinal numeral, panchami, has no consonant after it. It's a long vowel. Whereas in vibhaktihi, the suffix s for the nominative singular is turned into visarga. The stem ends up with the short e. Vibhakti. Okay. And today's sutra, please transliterate. E. So here I'll use it phonetically. I'll just do it. No, we're doing it in Devanagari. Idu de dvivachanam pragrhyam. Idu de dvi. We get a nice cluster here. Idu de dvi. Yep. That's not quite it. Idu de dvi. Oh, it looks like a duh. Idu de dvivachanam. So something to think about. When do you write anuswara? I don't want to tell you this one. I think you can figure out the rule for this. The final M underlying will be often written with just the anuswara. Sometimes it's a consonant letter. It gets written below the line. Sometimes above with the abbreviation. Can you tell me when you... Something to think about long term in the upcoming lessons as we see more. Idu de dvivajanam pra. It's another definition sutra. Grhyam. Gr. Wants to be clicked. That one. No. Trying to write. Oh, I need the combining form. That's the wrong letter. Gr. But that's not it. There. Grhyam. Idu de dvivachanam pragrhyam. Please transliterate. Let's hear it again.
नाज्झलौ ईदूदेद्विवचनं प्रगृह्यं नाज्झलौ ईदूदेद्विवचनं प्रगृह्यं नाज्झलौ.
That's that bit of the preceding sutra, which again, one thing that I like about Khatri's edition is he spells out his romanization is very good. It helps you see what the underlying words are. Najhalau. He would write it like this. He would show the underlying forms with morpheme boundaries marked. Najhalau, he would put like that, I think. And it tells you na is a word fused onto the initial vowel there, and it's between the C and H. Sundhi rules have applied. And then here it's just the ending of the stem, to the transition of stem to ending there. Idu. It's not a bhi though. Vachanan is not quite it. Pragrhyam. And note that the there is vocalic R in the final word is exactly right. But the rest of the stem.
तुल्यास्य प्रयत्नं सवर्णम्.
For review, that one means there's several words omitted, but it's words that it's sounds, phonemes that have the same oral effort are called savarna, home organic. Oops.
नाज्झलौ.
Chalo is an exception. Na ach halau. So this rule does not apply between consonants and vowels, between those two sets.
ईदूदेद्विवचनं प्रगृह्यम्.
This is another exception to the rule. Studyasa prayatnam savarnam. Still, so this 119 is important. The following sutras apply to it. They're like nested under it one level. So it's the vowel quantities. You're on the right path, but it's not quite it.
नाज्झलौ ईदूदेद्विवचनं प्रगृह्यं नाज्झलौ ईदूदेद्विवचनं प्रगृह्यं नाज्झलौ.
And let me call up that on Panini.net, was it? Com. Num should be the ending. Good. Anuswara. And then the diacritic in the first word with right. Okay. It's a very simple. So it's a nice principle. We've got them spelled out here in the chart below the converter. Here the sign added to add length to an A vowel is add another stem coming down. For I, the short one, to lengthen, double the quantity, it gets a little curl of hair on top. So it's the same basic shape with an added mark. U, the short one, the kind of three shape, that these will never occur in written Sanskrit in that order. So now something must have gone wrong. And here a curl of hair is added too, but it's added there below the stem, below the, I don't want to call that the stem. I want to call the vertical part the stem, the horizontal, the beam or something. So different ways to show length. In the combining forms too, U goes leftward, U, open rightward there. This one, let's do it below a K. The long R is rare. It's just a doubled R sign. So double quantity, and you'll never see. Does not. Vocalic L occurs in a certain verb root, so it's only in one lexical item, I think. The lengthened one is more theoretical. Doesn't actually occur, I think, that I know of. Okay, this is I've written wrong. I write it wrong. This is long which is kind of cool looking. So we've got up top long E, the initial form, then U. Below we have Kr, a long vocalic R, and Kl, long vocalic L combining with K. Idu de dvivachanam pragurhyam. By pluta pragurhya something, they do not merge with the next vowel. Oh, duals, that's right. Dvivachanam, that's the meaning. Dual nouns, I think it's only about nouns, that end in E, U, A are called a technical definition of a technical term, pragurhya. So I think that he uses the slash to write, to mark that it's a definition of a term, something like that, or a word, I don't know. And this person, bless them, is using capital vowel letters for long, and I guess semicolon to show a compound boundary. Tivachanam, and capital R is vocalic, pragurhyam, which I like as well. E, U, A is the meaning. The D, E, do, dade reflects that final T. Ood. Here I'm using capital letters because it's indicatory. Idu dade is the first word in the sutra. Dvi vachanam. It's a nice compound. Vachana is nom accusative, same form, singular, neuter. Still don't recognize this. Yeah. So here's what it is. In my transliteration, idu dade, that ends in a D. The next word is dvivachanam, that begins in dvi. That's what that is. D at the end of one, word boundary, dv. For comparison, let's do it side by side with a d, aspirated initial. Here we're looking at, let's also do dwa versus dwa, which we have here. Double D plus a V. This one doesn't like to combine it, but in handwriting it's quite easy to do it. I think in a manuscript it'd be much more elegant to stack all three consonants, but I think this digital one just prefers one way for each possible cluster. So it would be duh, duh, then you lengthen the stem. This would be D, DV with an inherent schwa. Yeah. Looks good. Oh, I know how I can show it to you. Oops. In the Q Hanzi.
이두
So do the beam at the top last. This is a combining form of D, number 1. There's D, number 2, and then the stem will go rightward. To the stem, a loop added gives a V, and now the beam on top. So the green ones, whoa. Idu dade is nominative singular. And this is a dwendal compound, so conjoined things. Phoneme long E and long U and phoneme A, spell E. In the dual, I guess as a dual, nominative singular, combined into one. Well, they have to be, well, they just have to be, it has to be clear that they're non-syllabic. You can get longer clusters in Sanskrit than just 3. So I'll do this one, let's do it up here actually. Tell me what consonants this represents. This occurs in an actual, well-formed Sanskrit word. We're not even done yet. That's the last consonant to be written, but not the last to be sounded. It's nice that there are different colors here. That's handy.
स्य प्रयत्नं सवर्णं नाझलौ ईदुदेद्विवचनं प्रगृह्यम् अदसौ
What else would we like to do on Duolingo today? Ta, ra, na, ya. Very close. There is an R in there, but not in that position. That string, in that order, the R would have to vocalize. You couldn't get a consonant R between stop and a nasal. That would be trnya, and the N would most likely retroflex. So there it is. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 consonant cluster. All the last one's a glide. Please guess again. It's got this nice sort of star wavy shape to it. Quite pretty. So first one is a T. This shape, the descender part with the broken line, that would be an R, but note this crossbar here, that is significant. And by the way, TR, if they're on alone together, so the word like trayaha, nominative, which means 3, tasanaya, I don't know about the curl on top. What it is tasanaya. That's the syllable. We have a word kartsnya, which means like pertaining to wholeness or something. Kartsnya. There's a stem ending in a.
주스를 마시는 여자아이가 귀엽습니다.
마시는, the drinking one. 주스를, the girl drinking juice. Is this a relative clause? I'm not so sure. 여자아이가 귀엽습니다. is cute. We might also say the juice drinking girl, where the nouns seem to switch places. It's kind of interesting, actually. Never really observed that before in the Earth language known as English. So, the girl drinking juice, and it has the same meaning. Drinking juice as a noun phrase has the same meaning as the juice drinking girl.
웃는 아이가 책을 읽어요.
That's crying, laughing. Child, subject. 책을 읽어요. A laughing child reads a book. How about something Austronesianite, Hawaiian or Indonesian? No Maori yet.
책을 읽는 귀여운 남자아이.
Sounds good, good. 책을 읽는 here. 읽는.
책을 읽는 귀여운 남자아이.
Kind of interesting. 읽는 sound. So I like to use 5 as a convenient substitute for the engma. The sound here would be 읽는, and plus for the high central vowel. And the writing system says ilg, I suppose, nun. So the L is deleted. There's otherwise too many sounds in a coda here. Ing is the syllable boundary. And it's written as a g, a stop, but pronounced as an eng, a nasal, so it assimilates in nasality to the following consonant. N. 읽는 귀여운 cute 남자아이 boy. The book reading cute boy. The cute boy reading a book is not a cute book.
자는 남자.
자는 남자. A sleeping man. not 저는. 자는 verbal.
먹는 사람.
먹는 사람. And eating. A person eating.
아이가 먹는 닭고기 수프는 매워요. 아이가 먹는 닭고기 수프는 매워요. 아이가 먹는 닭고기 수프는 매워요.
아이가 By the way, one of the coolest cases of fusion still blows my mind. Do you recall what this word represents, Levi? Ke? Oh, it's not that. It's plain G initial. But then yeah, ke, this word is a fusion. Why 5 for eng also has that? Well, because of the shape, and also because the Tibeto-Burman, the Sino-Tibetan rather, root for 5 has an eng. Yeah, it's a nice sort of echo there that I find delightful. So let me tell you more about my ad hoc phonetic symbols then, since we're on the topic. I like to use this, depending on what you're transcribing. 6 is a useful one for ev, 8 for theta. Theta also happens to be the 8th letter in the Greek alphabet. What else is there? You've seen, we've used here and there capital W for like secondary articulation rather than a separate segment. Sh for this is for Sanskrit specifically, for the palatal SH. That's not IPA though. Okay. Don't know what I've had occasion to need elsewhere. Maybe that's about it. Total of 2, and now there's 5 also. For Arabic, of course, like the course does, like in the course of course, 3 for ein, 7 for ha. Although this one doesn't do that, I've encountered that elsewhere. Getting a little distracted here.
아이가 먹는 닭고기 수프는 매워요.
먹는
아이가 먹는 닭고기 수프는 매워요.
싶은 매워요.
아이가 먹는 닭고기 수프는 매워요.
So, question here, real quick. Get this out of the way. What is this a fusion of? It's a cool looking syllable, too.
아이가 먹는 닭고기 수프는 매워요.
아이가
아이가
먹는
아이가 먹는 닭고기 수프는 매워요.
Okay, there it is.
먹는 아이가 먹는 닭고기 수프는 매워요. 수프는 매워요.
아이가 먹는 닭고기 수프는 Okay, the chicken soup being eaten. The soup the child is... Okay, topic here. The chicken soup which the child is eating. This is a gapped sentence preposed there. 매워요 is spicy. Russian ch for... Good one, yeah. Oh, very nice. Ah, yeah. That's cool. One for Turkish undotted I. Excellent. Need hadn't arisen yet. Remind me if we get there. 매워요. So this nice particle nun or un shows you what the verb is going to be, or actually the whole comment is going to be about. There's a lot of nouns up here. There's a child, and then a verb, and then the chicken and the soup. So that's three. And the particles and their absence, they help you find your way through this maze. Kind of a disadvantage to keeping your... Well, one good thing is you always know where to listen for the verb. It's at the end of the thing. But the downside is you get these nouns stacking up. It can be up to three, like here, maybe more sometimes. So these particles help your ear, help your brain sort it out. Ke looks like dog something, not particle. Ga, it is the pointing word, the deictic. K and I. So it should be written with a space, actually. K-I. So in this case, the I don't know if this is a regular thing. Let's go. The of K seems to shift to an E quality to give a Y. Normally it would, in other word formation cases, it would just delete, unrecognized. Okay. I can't use that. K-I. Is yeah. Okay, and the I just fuses into one syllable. That's not too unusual. Also, it happening in one word. But what's really cool is that this phrase consists of determiner plus noun. So I guess we kind of have that in English, attaboy. Superficially similar. If it comes from that's like good boy, that's a boy, is how I take that phrase. What I take it to consist of. So it would be the word that, and then and or it could be the boy with assimilation. That's the boy. Doesn't seem as that's a well. Neither sounds really good. What is attaboy? What does it come from? Does anybody know? People must have thought about this, I suppose. What word class is it? That a boy, that a boy. That's a single word. Variant pronunciation of that's the boy, a cry of encouragement, especially to children and pet dogs. Attaboy. Idiomatic colloquial, it doesn't give it a participle. Oh, interjection. Oh, here it is, yeah. And noun, a cry of attaboy. An accolade. Attagirl. Be good names of superheroes, it's attaboy and attagirl. And a nice thing is that this atta was an old Mediterranean word for father. Atta. It occurs in Homeric, in Hittite, and I think in Turkish, as well as Gothic.
집으로 가는 길.
집으로 가는 길. So a gapped sentence up here. This phrase is headed by the noun road. It's some kind of road.
가는.
가는, somebody is going. 집으로, home. So really we don't need a verb for this in English. We say the road home. Is that a compound? I don't think so.
달리는 남자가 뚱뚱합니다.
Extract it like you could in a compound. The road where? The road home. What you couldn't say, the home where? The hometown. Would be, but not a good correspondence.
달리는 남자가 뚱뚱합니다.
남자가, noun phrase ends here. There's another nice thing about these
남자가
particles. Clear there's just a very small number of them, and they have a clear indicatory function. 는, a topic. So it's kind of cool to see topic followed by
남자가
subject in the comment part. 달리는. Oh, that's not it. This is the participial. A running man. 뚱뚱합니다 is fat. And fats. Oh, atta, which I typed there. If that didn't line, I don't know how well it lines up with what I'm talking about, but atta means father. So attaboy looks like it means father boy.
책을 읽는 학생이 일의 친구입니다.
책을 읽는, that reading one. Oh,
책을 읽는
the 는 corresponds, that's kind of cool, 읽는, because the 는 marker corresponds to our ing, and the stem, as it's pronounced, gives the English sound of that correspondent. It's like going also. Here we have ing, 는. 학생. 책을 읽는 학생이, the student reading a book. 내 친구입니다 is my friend.
웃는 강아지
웃는 is the laughing, smiling. 강아지 puppy.
마시는 개들은 작아요.
맛있는 tasty 개들은 마시는 drinking, not tasty. Not 맛있는, but 마시는. Actually a minimal pair, I suppose. 마시는 versus, this one means drinking. Who is drinking? Versus 맛있는. This means tasty. Flavor being there. Spelled quite differently though. The I would not be likely to confuse them. The word flavor there in the second one, 마시는,
마시는
almost has those same three letters. Nothing carries over in the writing. 마시는 개들은. The drinking dog is small. Drinking dogs. That's right, it is plural.
저는 자는 남자입니다.
Not related to the verb to drink? I don't think so. But it's not impossible. Consumi-like or something. What would be the pathway, do you think? How would you derive those two words, is what I mean. Mat, flavor, and mashi, the verb stem, drink. 저는 자는 남자입니다. A nice minimal pair there too. It's a good way to construct the lesson. I am a sleeping guy.
나는 웃는 친구를 좋아합니다.
Sentence that you could really use unless you were a very aware dreamer. 나는 웃는 친구를 좋아합니다. Okay, the laughing, smiling friend. 나는 means I, humble. I think, or is 저 humble? I, anyhow. The smiling friend, like. I like. Just had the letters mat in common. Well, there's many pathways that would get there. You could have a common root ma, suffixed by either sa or sh or she, as the case may be. Or you could have mashi as your input with a shortening rule giving you a mat derived from that. Or you could have mat as your input and a derivational suffix e. Let's look for more patterns like it. Parallel cases.
자는 여자아이가 김밥을 먹어요.
Those are all competitive hypotheses, competing hypotheses, in my view. Though not really mutually exclusive if you look at it diachronically. There was, at some point, a Korean genitive suffix s that was regularly written, and it's what gives the tensing nowadays where it's not written. Rare in Sino-Korean words, but in this one, il-dung, written like this, meaning first grade, first degree, first level, rank, that sort of thing. There is tensing. Here, make it clearer. I-dung is written N-O-M-R-T, this one. Oh, that's not right. Sorry. No, wrong dung. I mean, the M is correct. Dung, the one that means it's a homophone except for the tone. I think it labels it. It's written with H, G, D, I. This one, please disregard that. That one meaning climb above is also read dung, I think, in Korean. It's this one. First degree or first rank has the bamboo on top. Here it is. We'll get it nice and big. And the temple below, H, G, D, I. That's good. The phonetic is S, temple. Anyway, back to 차는 여자아이가, sleeping girl, 김밥을 먹어요. Sleeping girl eats kimbap.
자는 남자.
자는 남자, sleeping man. Bamboo, earth inch. Superficially, yes, but the earth and inch write the temple to which the bamboo is added, just to make the derivation. So it's a nice case where it's clearly known. Sometimes there's ambiguity in it. But CJ input matches that because it still adheres to the 2 + 3 rule. An exception, interesting set to my mind, is the, gotta refresh. So Shang would be the most basic. Chang is one we know. Anything with FBR. No luck. But handwritten, we can get it. What I mean. So Fei Chang, the Chang, is in this phonetic series. So it's F on top, then a B enclosure, R. And here this one is LB, because we scan from top to bottom. Forgive the askewness. LB. There's a large set with this shared phonetic, the top part, and it's always spelled out with all 3 parts. Goes against 2 + 3. Just a fact of life. Not absolute rules in the system. 자는 남자 is a sleeping man.
마시는 개들은 작아요.
개들은 dogs. Drinking dogs sleep. 작아요 are short, small. 마시는 drinking dogs are small. Weird. I don't think so. Skew. Skew. I don't think it's connected to skewer though. Goes with few. and you. As far as the development of the sounds in Old English, I think those rhyme going back to Old English. Maybe not. Let's look up askew. It's a funny one. From Old Norse ska, equivalent to and skew. We have so case where we have the components in English, but this collocation apparently from Norse instead. Skroa, Danish, slanting, oblique, schräg. Oh, okay, never connected these. So a loss of R apparently in Old Norse, but this one means like oblique, slanted. Schräg would be without the suffix. E would be the adjective form there. Did not know that those were connected. We have loss of R also in English, speech and speak, compared to German Sprache, sprechen. Spreek. We should say I speak English. There, English lost the R. In this case, Norse lost it. I guess that's how we know. No. Skew. English lost it there too, apparently. Or that's itself from, that must be from Old Norse as well. SK before a palatal vowel could only be Norse. Actually, any position. I mean, not. It could be Greek. It could be many things. It's not Old English. Baby, 아기.
아기. 우는 아기가 귀엽습니다.
The crying baby is cute. What a cute crying baby.
마시지 않는 남자.
It is schräg. The related word. I'm just going to give you the adjective. Long A sound here means oblique. It gave the abstract noun diagonalness. This family of words occurs only with umlauted forms. There is no schräg.
마시지 않는 남자. 마시지 않는 남자.
A man who doesn't drink.
춤을 추는 게.
춤을 추는 게. Dancing dog.
다른 사람은 누구예요?
다른, a different, 사람은 man, a person. 누구예요, who is the other person.
다른 집. 다른 집.
Another house.
나는 게.
걷는 아기.
Gotta go. Going child. Walking baby.
꿈을 꾸는 학생.
Dreaming. Yeah. To dream a dream. 학생, student.
춤을 추는 아기.
춤을 추는 아기. Sleeping. This is dancing. Dancing. Dreaming. Okay. Good old, what do they call him? Word bank. 추는. So another cognate phrase. Just a single word in English. Dreaming. Baby. Dancing. Whoops.
아기는 소고기를 안 좋아합니다.
아기는 baby 소고기를 안 좋아합니다. Doesn't like beef. Yes, opposite halves of mew. The mew to who mew. Very nice.
나는 우는 아기를 싫어합니다.
나는 우는 아기를 싫어합니다. I hate crying babies. And the babies are not marked for plural, but it's just a general statement, not restricted to a single baby. 우다,
우는
verb here, right? Or is it 울? Yeah, it's ulda, but before an N. So again, to use our Paninian glasses, in Korean, derivation is kind of similar. Our input here, in this case, for the word crying, the root is ul, and the suffix is nun. It's the input, cry, plus participle. Add nominal. Okay. And then there's a rule that says within derivation of a single Korean word, so not in like Chinese borrowings, different rules apply there. But in verb derivation, deverbative, I suppose, when your L is next to an N, delete the L. So the next step would be a 0 there instead, and the suffix nun, and then no more changes apply. That's the word 우는, crying babies.
자는 아기는 지루합니다.
자는 아기는
아기는
sleeping baby 지루합니다.
지루합니다.
Makes more sense than bitter.
춤을 추는 강아지는 어디에 있습니까?
Just dancing. Yeah,
춤을
we see the dancing figure in the show. Hop, hop, jumping up and down. 추는 강아지는 puppy, dancing puppy. 어디에 있습니다? Where is it? 춤을 추는 강아지는 어디에 있습니다? 있습니까?
춤을 추는 아기.
춤을 추는 아기, a dancing baby. Now let's do Indonesian next. Maybe Hawaiian after. But let's finish talking about today's sutra. And oh yeah, we need to learn those endings. So first the sutra, then the, what's our fifth case, Levi? Panchami vibhakti는 뭐예요?
Mahing. Suaujas, amauchas, tabhyambhis, nebhyambhyas, nasibhyambhyas,
Nasi pyam. Nasi. This is a little tricky because the capital I looks like an L. Nasi pyam pyas. So again, the first word just phonetically nasi pyam pyas. But the first and last sounds are label letters here. That can happen too. They can be next to each other, they can be on either side, whatever's most convenient for pronunciation. Pyam. So you'll note pyam this is now the third one where the middle one is pyam, the dual ending. It's called syncretism. There are distinct grammatical forms look alike, look and sound alike. And pyas is also repeated from the dative. Yeah. So the string for the first letters of the case names. N-A-D-A. This is the A now. G-L. And then vocative. Not regarded as a distinct case in Paninian grammar. So, again, let's review the ordinals. Prathama vibhakti is nominative. Dvitiya, accusative. Tritiya, third is instrumental. Chaturthi vibhakti means fourth case dative. And now Panchami vibhakti. Ngasi, pyam, pyes are the exponents. Ngasi, pyam, pyes. Ngasi. And again, the ng never occurs initially in a Sanskrit word. Grammarians do it to label morphemes. Fourth case is not ablative. Fourth case is D-dative. Fifth case is ablative. Yeah. Don't sorry. I hope dessert is mashinen. Mashi. Well, how would you say? I hope that it is. It's a verb. Parayo. But what does it occur with? Mashiso parayo, I think. And on to Indonesian. Ngasi, pyam, pyes are the basic ones here. Since you're back,
Suau.
you're on the right side of the page. This recitation starts with the sup set. Noun, case and number markers.
Suaujas, amauthshas, tabhyambhis, ngebhyambhyas, ngasibhyambhyas, ngasosam, ngeosup.
Ni, os, sup, dative, future. Ni, pyam, pyes, those are dative. By the way, I think that pyam, pyes, they never show up in any other forms. Just those basic exponents and nothing. Maybe in pronouns, it's a different story. Pyam, pyes, in both these cases. Ngasi appears several different ways. In a word like buddha, right, an class noun, it would be buddhat. This would mean from the Buddha. But in a word like marut, the wind, it keeps its basic shape. From the wind would be marutaha. So that means visarga at the end. Marutaha. Right. Ngasi, that tells us that it's us, basically. And at the end of a word, so in final utterance, final position, and often in the coda, the underlying S aspirates as in some Spanish dialects. Gives a voiceless fricative.
rumah,
Rumah.
dapur,
Dapur.
sekolah,
Sekolah. So again, for Indonesian, I think the preferred shape for a noun or a verb is that. Zero can be a consonant, but a vowel is needed. Oh, foiled again. So the exception here, sekolah, is different. It goes beyond that. It's a borrowed word. Probably English school. Kitchen, dapur.
dapur,
Dapur. Doesn't devoice.
rumah saya tidak besar,
Saya, so my house, tidak besar.
tidak,
Not. My house is not. Must be big. Nothing else makes sense. Besar, big. Both have B. Tidak, what's the other negator? Bukan. Because there are rooms. Very nice. Rumah. Very good. Yeah. Oh. Real quick on those. Sup endings. Note how many of them are actually just pronounced us. Just means it's pronounced us. Shus is two. Ngasi is a third one. Ngus is a fourth. So one use of the indicatory letters is to just tell them apart within a single syllable or two. Instead of saying, I mean the dative singular, us, two syllables get set across. No, that's not a thing. Sorry, dative ngi, I mean the ablative singular. Ngus, we say ngasi. Each unique.
dapur,
Dapur, kitchen.
rumah,
Your kitchen is looking dapper.
sekolah,
Escola. That final H is interesting though. Maybe not English. Maybe Spanish? Not so much. Escuela. Unless it's an old borrowing for Spanish. Now, if these suffixes are case and number, how these forms interact with gender, that's a splendid question. Panini treats feminine and neuter ones as consisting of substitutions of these basic ones. A lot of the endings are shared. You see the differences mainly in nominative and accusative, and in the singular for the feminine. So in the case of feminine, actually, a different morpheme will come in between stem and case marker. Very often, that's the rule. And you see lots of substitutions. So we saw one, the plural, so a sutrani. Maheshwarani sutrani. There we see neuter plural. Non-accusative plural neuter. Mahi, and the E is always long. Shwarani. And capital for retroflex. Sutrani. The Arni happens to be retroflexed in both these cases, but that's because R consonants proceed within the word. Basic ending you're going to see in a case like that is Ani. A being the stem final, which has lengthened. There's a suture for that. And the basic replacement for just is Shi. Indicatory palatal. Short E is the sound, and then we get this nice initial, we call it an augment. It's not a meaningful prefix, this N. It's just something that the grammar adds that is meaningless to preserve like a preferred syllable shape or something. Panini calls it nurt. The indicatory T tells us that it precedes, and the suffix itself is E. The urt part deletes, and what we're left with is ni. So that's a replacement of just and shus. It's not directly the replacement, it's the outcome of a suite of changes. The basic replacement, again, was this shi, to which n is added by a rule, and the n will assimilate by a different rule. That's in a nutshell how got nut written out here. That's in a nutshell how he treats those variations that pertain to gender. So he just chooses this specific set as basic, and everything else is derived by substitutions and sound changes.
dari sini,
Dari sini.
dari,
From.
sini,
And note that these are not CVC words, but a bit less. They have no coda, and they're both grammatical words, a preposition and deictic.
Saya di sini.
Here are two grammatical words, including the short D.
Di.
Di sini is here. A copula. I am here.
saya makan di sini, saya makan di sini, saya makan di sini.
I eat here. Why is here two words? In this place. Maybe sini is pronoun.
Dia ada di rumah.
By itself. Dia ada di rumah. He.
Ada.
It is di rumah. She is at home. All spoken languages I know allow words at the that's not my point. Not that's allow, not disallowed. My main observation about word shape in this language is that this one is the five-parter, is the predominant one for nouns and verbs, lexical words. And I'm confirming this by saying these words do not conform to that template, and they are non-nouns and non-verbs. What I'm perceiving here is that the shape and number of syllables tells you already about the word class, which is very handy.
Saya ada di dapur,
Saya ada
ada,
Di dapur. I am from dapur. We said a dapper kitchen. I am from a kitchen. I am in the kitchen makes more sense. I was born in kitchen, and I have just come from there.
Saya.
am di dapur, in kitchen. Word and phrase order, very much like English.
Kamu ada di sekolah.
Kamu, you, ada, are at school. Di sekolah, you are at school. A lot of these sentences that we're learning with are pragmatically just very weird. I don't know why you would be saying this unless someone was at school calling you on the phone and they had amnesia, or they were asking you to guess where they were or something. It's a bit odd to declare these things to someone else.
Saya ada di sekolah.
Copula, I am at school. Saya ada di sekolah.
Saya ada di sekolah.
The implosive,
Saya ada di sekolah.
ada di sekolah.
Dia makan di dapur.
Dia makan di dapur. So that preferred syllable template might even give a sort of explanation. It's not really, it's just an observation that would not be contradicted by adding an H to a word like sekolah. Well, in this case it's an extra syllable added, but that could sort of explain, give context to why you would add a sound to a borrowed word.
Dia makan di dapur.
She eats in the kitchen.
Saya makan di rumah.
Saya makan di rumah. I eat at home.
Makan. Rumah. Makan.
House. Rumah.
Dapur.
Dapur.
Sekolah.
Rumah.
And it's kind of neat that we see coda H's here after just talking about Sanskrit, which has the coda H and no coda S unless a T or TH follows. Only two segments allow an S to stand in coda.
Gedung.
Conforms to my template, I'm happy to note. Gedung also looks like a German word, kind of, with a G prefix or an ung suffix, probably not both.
Rumah. Gedung.
Gedung. Dung. Makan contains the Vietnamese word for eat. Ah, very nice. Ăn, yeah. And mak, so maybe eating McDonald's, to mak-eat. Makan. I believe do you know the Hawaiian cognate? Let's just get the pronunciation part. I think I know one that's... It doesn't have the ma prefix in the Hawaiian word that I'm thinking of. And then we'll check if it is indeed true. I won't tell too many lies in a stream.
Kami makan di hotel.
Kami makan di hotel. This conforms to the template and is...
Hotel.
Kami is the plural. We eat at the hotel. Or is it you, plural?
Kami.
Us. Kamu, kami. Kamu is you, I think singular.
Pergi.
Pergi. So here's an exception.
Pergi.
It's not a noun. Could be a verb. Pergi. But irregular to me. It makes more exceptional syllable shape here. Pergi, go.
Pasar. Hotel. Gedung.
I think it's I. Let's find out. That's what I'm remembering, but I've been wrong before. Proto-Malaic makan, kaan, and Proto-Austronesian also kaan. And let's find a sentence. Fijian Hawaiian, ai. Ai, kai kai, for food. Kai kai in like a Pacific pidgin with a related word. Hawaiian having shifted it to glottal stop, which you accurately recognize. So they're not superficially too similar. Makan Indonesian to Hawaiian ai, but it's a well-established, I think. Looks a pretty attractive correspondence when you see those reconstructions. And another one, oh yeah, air is Indonesian for water, and in Hawaiian you get vai, as in Waikiki, I think. Pasar.
Pasar.
Oh, I recognize this. Persian, I think. Persian origin. Hotel Gedung, building. What do you think for the source of pasar, meaning market?
Andi pergi ke pasar.
Go away to the from the market?
Ke.
Oh, cool. This looks like what you see for
Ke.
in Chinese, that a single word can mean either to or go. Alright, I'm gonna let the cat in. Be right back.
Suaujas,
bizarre,
autshas, tabhyambhis, ngebhyambhyas, ngasibhyambhyas, ngasosam, ngeusup. Suaujas, autshas, tabhyambhis, ngebhyambhyas, ngasibhyambhyas, ngasosam, ngeusup. Tiptas jhi siptas tha mipvasmas ta tam jha tha satham dhvam itvahimahing. Tiptas jhi siptas tha mipvasmas ta atam jha tha satham dhvam itvahimahing. Vadati vadatach vadanti vadasi vadatchach vadatcha vadami vadavach vadamach.
So there he starts with full verb paradigms. Prathama Purushaha, top row there, means word by word, it means first person. We call it third, though, third person. It is, though, the most frequent one in most genres of text. So it makes sense to number it that way. Madhyama means the middle person, second. Uttamaha, the highest, is first person. So question about the shape of Andi, this name. Is it, what's the syllable boundary? A and a prenasalized? Oh, I shouldn't use the da like that. Or is it A plus an plus D? A, D, or an, D?
Andi pergi ke pasar.
Pergi ke pasar. Go to the market.
Mereka pergi ke sekolah.
So look at that. Big exception to my rule.
Mereka pergi ke sekolah.
Pergi.
Mereka pergi ke sekolah.
Okay, now it's a preposition. Ke sekolah. Pergi. Mereka means they. Yeah. Pergi ke sekolah. So maybe the R coda has come about through syncope, the middle vowel. And it looks like go verb here and then ke to. Just a preposition with this CV.
Kami pergi ke sana.
Pergi ke sana. Kami, we go to
Sana.
I want to go to there. It says they count person numbers in the opposite order. Highest person is not cognate with ultimate, but it is cognate with it. So it's uttama, long T, supreme highest. And the root of that is the upasarga ud, which is cognate with English out and utter and utmost and so on. We have it in Germanic in the meaning from an enclosed position outward, hard to avoid saying it, X going to the outside, and in Sanskrit it means elevated, the highest. utter, utmost are English cognates. As we learn more vocabulary, we'll see instances of this ud. A nice example, when you combine ud with the verb sta, to stand, that's the root form. The outcome is uttishtati. You're using caps for retroflex. Uttishtati, because that sta root reduplicates. And the D just assimilates to the T, to the voicelessness. Kami pergi ke sana.
Kami pergi ke sana.
Pergi ke sana.
Di sana.
Di sana. In that place.
Dia pergi ke pasar.
He goes to the market. Dia pergi ke pasar. Do we have B in Indonesian?
Saya suka pasar.
Saya suka. I like the market.
Dia pergi.
Dia pergi. He pergi goes.
Saya pergi ke hotel.
I go to the hotel.
Andi pergi ke pasar.
He pergi ke pasar.
Dapur. Toilet.
Don't hear the T there.
Toko.
Toko. That's kind of nice for store. Kage in Korean for store. Keeps the V there. Suka is a lot like ski. Good. I think of the phrase, I'm a sucker for such and such.
Toilet.
Dari toilet ke toilet.
What does that mean? Dari, from. This means from toilet to toilet or bathroom to bathroom?
Toilet.
Sounds like a fun evening.
Kamu pergi ke situ.
Situ, like the Latin. Kamu pergi ke situ. And the structure makes me suspect that it is a pointing word here.
Situ.
Oh, that's cool. Like we say in situ, where you leave a pronoun where it is. There. In its position is what that means in Latin. Kamu is you. Go there.
Saya pulang.
I pulang.
Pulang.
Go, okay, single verb, and it conforms to the template. Pulang, go home. So like kaeru, kaeru, which I remember as go to where you belong, and this
Saya.
is go home. Home is where you pulang.
Saya pergi ke bank, toko, dan sekolah.
I just had a thought about this pergi. It seems significant that it's got a voiced. Pergi means go. That it has a voiced stop, where it really prefers voiceless ones overall. I wonder if it's from something like, I don't know, pereki or something, where the E might be a suffix. So if it was a three-syllable word, it would syncopate, and then in contact, the K would voice, maybe. Okay, toko was,
Toko.
like tokoro means a place in Japanese. I go to the bank, shop, and school.
Di situ ada bank.
Di situ ada bank.
Di situ ada bank.
There is, okay. This is interesting. This structure. Di situ is a phrase. In that place. ada, copula. That's the verb in the narrow sense, the verby part. And bank is a noun. Pronounced as bang. It's a short noun, but conforms to the CBC expectation. Di situ ada bang. And really, what's the topic? Like, how far does the verb phrase extend? Is not instantly clear to me. So it means there is bank.
Dari sini ke situ.
Sini. Ke situ. There. Go there. To there.
Sini.
From here to there. Dari sini ke situ. It's interesting that these differ in their number of syllables. Dari, from, and ke, to.
Mereka pulang.
They go home. Mereka pulang.
Kami pulang.
Kami pulang. You go.
Tini pergi ke toilet.
Ini pergi ke toilet.
Toilet ada di situ.
Is di situ, over there.
Dari toko ke bank.
From the store to the bank.
Kami pulang.
Kami pulang. We go home. Lovely. Ooh, just barely in the lead here with these nice three oranginos bringing up the rear. Okay, let's jump over to Hawaiian. Skip over an ocean or half of one to a distant cousin language. Kala. Kamahi'ai. Polish upside down flag. Kikane. Kala. So we see that it looks like there's at least these two genders. Whatever these determiners are showing. The difference between ke and ka. Ke la. Oh, this is just like Irish law for day. Not just like, but a good mnemonic.
Beher Kanila.
Spelled quite similarly, just a different mark on the vowel. Anila. Is this weather? Might have to do with that date word that we just saw.
Okay.
What if weather? How is? Okay. Okay is the article.
Beher Kanila. Okay, yala.
Behek anila. Okay yala.
Beher Kanila. Okay, yala.
Behek anila. Okay yala.
Beher Kanila. Okay, yala.
Today's. About the date or today? How's the weather today? Weather, Toady.
Beher Kanila. Okay, yala.
Ikeyala. Behek anila. Ikeyala. Is the weather with or on this day? Behek anila. Ikeyala. Keyala.
Beher Kanila. Okay, yala.
Agu, just relaxed, yeah. It's a make run, that's right. Leveled out.
Kai. Kai.
Those are two Antipodean languages, if ever there were any Irish in Hawaii. Hawaiirish. We found the Hawaiirish connection. Oh, I forgot forget the name of it. Hawaii-Irish. I think the Notre Dame sports team is called the Fightin' Irish. Okina, that's right. I always want to say Ocarina. Team's called the Fightin' Irish. And the Hawaii is like Korean for whiting, from fighting. Okina. Okina has it in it itself, I suppose. Okina contains and starts with Okina. That would be.
Kai. 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 Kai.
Quite a big difference between IE ending in a high.
Kai.
Ending in a mid vowel.
Kai.
Ocarina. Good on you. What material is your ocarina made from? Kawela, interesting. Kahomana, the student. Kala, the date. Kawela, heat.
Nani keyala.
Yala, this day. Nani, what is this day? Oh, beautiful. It's like clayish, okay.
Nani keyala.
Pretty this day. Oh, so it looks like the structure is comment topic. Very interesting. How Irish. To put a verby part first. Nani keyala. How today is beautiful. And it's beautiful this day. As best I can tell. So you've got the boundary between the topic, the comment rather, and the, what's the other one? Comment first. And at the end is our topic, subject. It seems. Maybe it's a different story.
Mali kanila ikeyala.
Malia Anila, the weather. Ikeyala, on this day. Calm. Same order anyway. Comment first. Calm the weather this day. On this day. Calm the weather on this day. So no verb. Unless Malia is a verb. Today's weather is calm. The weather is calm today.
Ikiki ohilo.
Kiki Ohilo. Like names. Humid. I hope it's not a person.
Hu ka ikiki okona.
Hu ka ikiki okona.
Hu ka ikiki okona.
Wow, Kona is humid. Ikiki looks reduplicated.
Ka.
Kona is humid. Beautiful is a tough word to spell. Beau, of Old French, comes from a late Romance, belle. So the first half of it is the same, and L became au, beau. If that helps, hope so. It lies quite awkwardly across the keyboard there. Who for wow. Ka. So now if ikiki means humid, what is
Ka.
Is it like the humidity? And what is is that an article? Of Kona. Ooh, the humidity of Kona.
Hono.
Hono. Sure.
Hono. Hu kawela.
Ooh, Kawela. Wow, it's calm. It's hot right now. Ooh, Kawela. So it looks like it's who the heat.
Mali keyala.
This day. Today is beautiful. Oh, you know what? Mali. Calm. Never mind. Let's banish that from our minds.
Hu kawela Honolulu.
3 of the same letters as in calm. Ooh, Kawela, the heat. Wow, Honolulu is hot. Hu Kawela o Honolulu. This is a preposition in of, yeah, possession. So O is the descendant of Irish.
Wela okay how.
Wela okay how. So different word with okina. Wela okay how. Hot. Is this a place?
Wela we kayala.
Wela au. I am hot on this day. I am hot today. If I do say so myself. So the word order there is hot, au I, ikeyala on this day. Hot I on this day.
Au we kaya kiki.
Wow. Keya. Now here it's different, not iki, keya. That's fascinating. What is going on? This humidity. Is that what it's, yeah, determiner noun. Okay, let's add it anyway. Wow, it's humid. It's not really comment or topic. This humidity. So some sort of exclamation first. This, I think it's a noun. So these would form a phrase together if I'm right. A noun phrase.
Nani kayala.
Nani. That's beautiful. Keyala this day. Today is beautiful. And that's comment topic.
Mali kayala.
Nani calm this day. The cloudiness. Kaua. Ka'anuanu. Ridicated. Looking. O malu malu. Also ridicated looking. Ka'o malu malu. See the different genders, assuming these are not nonsense combinations. Rain kaua. Oh, this is like u in Korean for Chinese yu. Kaua with a article.
Hela ua kaya.
Hela uakeia. Hela uakeia. Ua rain. He. This. Day. Rain. This. Okay. He meaning be. Not this. Be. Day. Rain. This. This is a rainy day. So maybe that word order to be interpreted as day of raininess. Should have grabbed that one. Wind. Kamakani. Looks like a ma prefix, maybe. Malu malu. Kamakani. Cold. Kaua. Kapolalawa. Polalawahi. Okay, no, looks like a compound. Okay, anuanu.
Hela makani kayala.
Hela makani. Kayala. Makani. So, be a day of cloudy, windy. Yeah. Be a day of wind this day. Vog. I sure don't know what that is. Answer, not image. None of these really. Is there a word Vogue and I'm just not hip? Cool. thing to call a volcano? Is that what the cool kids are saying? Oh, blend of volcanic smog. New portmanteau. Word of the day, I'm guessing 2017. Should have paid closer attention. Fog, how nice. The rare og coda of English, yeah. Portmanteau nails it. It sounds more benign than it is, come to think of it. Eyjafjallajökull. Name of this. Eyja. Of the island Fjalla. I don't know if Icelandic. Jökull. I think it's a 3-part compound here. Eyjafjallajökull. And this double L, I think, reflects assimilation of the R suffix, which is the cousin of Sanskrit su. The eruptions created an eruption column of ash cloud that caused the worst disruption to air traffic in Europe since World War II, as vaguely do I recall. 11 years ago now.
Maukua.
Maukua. Something the rain. Cleared.
Hue. Hue.
It's a consonant in between the vowels.
Hue. Hue.
Clear difference.
Mau kapalalawahi.
Mau kapolalawahi. The fog has cleared. Or maybe it's not based on smog at all, but it's derived from fog by a new word initial voicing rule. I could give some cool new words.
Mau kapalalawahi. Anu anu. Anu anu.
Those sound short, those oohs.
Anu anu. Anu anu. Ane ane. Anu anu. Hela polalawahi.
La polalawahi is a day of fog. A foggy day.
Anu anu au.
Anu anu au. I am cloudy. Cold. Anu anu au. Humu humu nuku nuku apu au.
Hela o malu malu.
The state fish. Hela o malu malu. O malu malu is a day of. This one is Femal. Hela o malu malu. So it looks like a verb here. Oh, it's given both as probably not a verb then. Probably some article like thing. Humu humu nuku nuku apua ah. That's the one. Ela o malu malu. Cloudy day. So I think I'll end the Duolingo there. Maybe let's listen a bit more, but then call it a night here pretty soon.
ईदुदे ॐ येनाक्षरसमाम्नायमधिगम्य महेश्वरात् कृत्स्नं व्याकरणं प्रोक्तं तस्मै पाणिनये नमः येन धौता गिरः पुंसां विमलैः शब्दवारिभिः तमश्चाज्ञानजं भिन्नं तस्मै पाणिनये नमः वाक्यकारं वररुचिं भाष्यकारं पतञ्जलिं पाणिनिं सूत्रकारं च प्रणतोऽस्मि मुनित्रयम् ॐ
Just want to point out real quick, the total length of this recitation runs to just under 4 hours. So a full evening's entertainment.
Ayuna Rudraka Evong Ayauj Hayavarat Lan Nyamangananam Jabhaya Ghadadash Jabagadadash Kapha Chatata Chatatav Kapaya Shashasar Hal Iti Maheshwarani Sutrani अथ प्रथमोऽध्यायः प्रथमः पादः वृद्धिरादैच अदेङ्गुणः इको गुणवृद्धि न धातुलोप आर्धधातुके इति च दीधिवेवीटाम् हलोऽनन्तराः संयोगः मुखनासिकावचनोऽनुनासिकः तुल्यास्य प्रयत्नं सवर्णम् नाज्झलौ ईदूदेद्विवचनं प्रगृह्यम्.
That's right, we only got through half of that sutra. Pragrihyam, the technical term. The root grh is like to grab. So grabbing forth or something is the meaning of the root components. But what it denotes is failure of sandhi rules to apply, I think. By Blutavitsada Sutra, whatever that is, they do not merge these sounds. If it's one of these three vowels, that's what the T tells us, T which becomes D, and it's in a dual form, dvivachanam, dual number. So we've got these nice grammatical terms, we can learn them here side by side. Ekavachanam means singular number. As a grammatical term. We've got dvivachanam in this sutra, the dual number. Vachanam. These are neuter, gender. And bahu vachanam. You'll recognize bahu, this component, I'm sure. Here in the word for plural number. Ekavachanam, dvivachanam, short vowel, bahu vachanam are the three numbers of Sanskrit, applying to both nouns and verbs. Okay, and he's got examples helpfully here on Panini.com under this sutra. Technical term pragrhya. Let's open that in a new page. Pluta and pragrhya is a class of vowels. They do not merge with the next vowel. If you're calling someone named Devadatta, you might lengthen the final sound as you're calling them. Devadatta atra. Come here. The point is that these, even though they're like vowels, they don't fuse. Sandhi rule of union does not apply, is the point. It's an exception to a rule that is yet to be stated. Agni atra. The two fires are here. Because this E suffix has the status of being in a dual word, by this pragrhya rule, replacement by ya does not occur. Bahu means many. Much many. Much rice and many number. And from this we have in Hindi the word bahut, very, to a great extent. So a nice word that changes little through the millennia, from Sanskrit to Hindi. Bahuvrihi means much rice, the two parts together. So that is itself an example of the possessive compound type. And so, since Panini's time, this grammar is what we know it from as a technical term. It means possessive compound, which is exocentric, unheaded. Oh, okay, this other sutra that's referred to, tells us about the vowel not merging. This just defines these three endings in the dual number. It gives them a label, a grammatical label, pragrhya, not subject to the normal fusion rules. Let's look this up as an independent word, and then, well, that's all right. We're here to review as well as learn new things. It's always good to work your brain out. Let's good to be wrong. Helps me remember sometimes. To be either wrong or just forget something. What are we looking at? Not pragrhya. What were we just on? Bahu. Oh, the word, yeah, this word pragrhya as a not a technical term. That's just a word of everyday language. Prag, gr, vocalic R. We'll look it up under the stem form without a sup. Doesn't occur. Let's add an ending. Wrong place. Ma. Alright, there's other dictionaries in the world. Yep. Okay, means remembrance. To be seized or taken or accepted. Having taken or grasped. If it doesn't have the M on it, this is an, what's the word? Those gerundive or something? I don't get the metaphor, but here's the technical definition for grammar. A vowel which is not liable to the rules of sandhi, euphony, and which is allowed to be written and pronounced separately. Idude dvivachanam pragrhyam, cites the sutra, i.e. the final E, U, and A of the dual terminations of a word or any grammatical form. It just denotes that class of endings. Remembrance or a sentence is another possible meaning. Okay, so let's call it a night, and I'll see you next time. Thank you for joining. Take care.